How a bow tie look. My mama got this for me. Today we're going to talk about police officers and body cameras.
It happened again.
What?
Look at your phone.
Another police officer caught planting drugs. What the f?
You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Let's attempt to answer a few questions. Are police cameras working? The answer is yes and no. On the one hand, they are working because they are helping to get a lot of people who are being cheated by the system off of their ridiculous charges, and some even out of jail and prison, as this lovely officer has managed to free 43 people already. But is that the way the cameras are supposed to be used? Not really. So that leads me to believe that they're not actually working, because there's situations where officers like this can get away with tasing an individual 12 times to the point that he dies. This poor victim died because he was so out of control that the officer was required to tase him 12 times. After the initial coroner's report, it shows that there were no defensive wounds on the officer, meaning this person was either subdued or halfway unconscious through this altercation. In layman terms, this guy was dead probably around the 4th time he was tased. But this officer claims he was too busy defending himself to hit the record button on his body camera. And now we have a dead teenager. And another officer that refuses to go along with the policy set in place. But is it the officers or is it the policy? Let's take a look. Right here in the lovely city of Dallas, Texas. It's really not that cool. Our own police department is required to record all interactions with all civilians regardless of the situation, which is a great thing to have in your bylaw. But what guarantees that an officer is going to follow this rule? Let me break it down. An officer in pursuit of a suspect needs what in order to pursue that individual? A car. An officer in a gunfight with a suspect needs what in order to have a gunfight? A gun. An officer who is required to film individuals needs what? A body camera. There's only one stark difference between the rest of these. If an officer doesn't have a car when he's in pursuit, the suspect gets away. That falls on the officer. If an officer has a gunfight with a suspect and forgets his gun, he's dead, so he won't have to worry about being fired. But if an officer forgets to turn on his body camera when he's having an altercation or interaction with a civilian, what's the punishment for that? Based on the Dallas police force? Nothing. No foul, no harm, no penalty. Another reason why cameras aren't being turned on, because officers and police departments believe the cameras are there to hinder, tarnish, or point the finger back at them, when in reality that's not the case. Police officers' body cameras have shown justifiable reasons for their use of force. For example, this Baltimore case, this officer legitimately has to dodge a bullet as the gun was raised and shot at him several times by a suspect, and no one died. But the body camera justified the shooting. In the city of Baltimore, where you have been publicly announced to the world you are the most corrupt police department in the country, you need every piece of proof to prove otherwise. So these body cameras can help officers, but why do they have such a negative stigmatism? Could it be possibly because a lot of officers don't enjoy having their every move watched? They don't enjoy being an officer that has to answer to the people? The problem is they don't want to be held accountable. And when you have someone watching you 24/7, you can't lie about that. Furthermore, it shouldn't really even be left up to the officer in order to turn on the camera. This is a responsibility or duty that can be done remotely. Every officer, before they have any interaction with anybody, is required to inform dispatch. There's no situation where an officer can go rogue and just do whatever he wants. He must compose himself enough in order to request backup, to inform them of a hostile situation, to inform them of shots fired or anything. At the moment an officer confirms that he is about to have contact with a civilian, why not leave it up to dispatch to remotely turn on the camera? We have the technology to make this better, yet it is not being utilized appropriately. Dispatch is away from the evil bad guys that these police officers claim they're too focused on and finding. But for some strange reason, in Texas alone, they have this many rape kits they still haven't tested in Texas alone. But they're super busy fighting all the bad guys like Lex Luthor. Think about it, but we have vibrators that can go inside of cam girls and buzz every time they get a $5 donation.
Oh!
Come on. But the real question comes down to, how do the cameras help and are they being used effectively? If the camera footage is not being reviewed and utilized in further training, proof of allegation, or proof of concept, then no, the cameras aren't being used to their best ability. The camera cannot just be used to justify police actions. They have to be used in a way that they can better police actions. How do we solve the problem of these cameras not being turned on? Any officer that has any altercation or situation with a civilian who is able to use his body camera and doesn't, all those charges have to be dropped, regardless of what they are. Okay, that's a little crazy, but it sends a message, and it's justifiable in a way because we have officers lying on camera in front of other officers about planting drugs, not even a weapon, like something you use for yourself, and they're getting away with it. From here on out, basically, anytime an officer says something, it stands to be reasoned that this officer needs to be able to prove it. And the proof isn't just him showing up with the drugs and saying you did it. There needs to be hard evidence. And when every officer has a body camera on them, there should be no excuse why a camera is off in the middle of an investigation, unless you're hiding something. You don't believe me? Ask him. Ooh, too soon? The policy needs to punish officers who don't obey the camera rules. Don't allow them to dictate how they are to be policed. Officers cannot be in charge of how their superiors supervise them. And let me let you guys in on a little secret. We're your supervisor. And last but not least, any officer caught cheating gets fired. Point blank simple. And all his cases get reversed or reviewed, where if he doesn't have distinct proof other than his own words as a credible source, it's been thrown out. Too many people are sitting in jail. In Texas alone, almost 15% of people in jail have been found innocent. In the Innocent Project alone in 2014, 234 black males were sitting in jail who were not guilty of the crime they committed. How do I know? I helped free a few of them. I am hero. Protect and uphold the law. If an officer can't keep a promise to himself, how do we expect him to keep a promise to the people? Officers need to be held accountable. Let's make these body cameras these officers are using actually be used for something. Thank you guys for making it to the end of this video. Please like, no, seriously, like the comment. Don't text me and tell me how great the video was. Write it in the comment section below. I need more viewers. But seriously, I greatly appreciate you guys coming through. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the little bell so you know whenever I upload a video. I'm gonna try and start doing like 2 videos in a week because I'll be recording twice in a day. And a lot of people have been asking me to talk about Trump. It's coming. I got something for y'all. Much love, much respect, and here's some advice. In the words of the great Steve Rogers, if I see a situation pointed south, I can't ignore it. Sometimes I wish I could, but I can't. That is a true patriot. And he's not even a real person.